It's another 98 Rock test drive. We are back at Right Way Hyundai, West Main in Waynesboro, and today I've got one of my favorite cars on the lot. We've done a Santa Fe before, but today we've got the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. Calligraphy, top of the line for Hyundai. Going to show you some stuff in here. Actually, I found a list of features that are on this car that don't get talked about enough, and some of them really wowed me, and we were just talking about it before we started here, so they may wow you too. It's refreshed in 2021, coming back for 2022 with the top of the line trim level again being the Calligraphy. Even better styling. There's some updates that I really love about this. It's the midsize two-row SUV with the great footprint, a lot of storage in the back. For those not needing a third row of seats, this is really the best option for you. Calligraphy, top of the line, represents great value for styling and technology. There's so much tech when you sit behind the wheel of this thing. It's amazing that it comes in at this price point. And we're going to bring in, as always, Rob Hansen. He helps us here on the videos that we do at Right Way. Rob, gorgeous color, by the way. I'm going to call it midnight blue. I'm not sure what Hyundai calls it.
Stormy Sea.
Stormy Sea.
Yeah, Stormy Sea blue.
Yeah, sounds like somebody I knew in high school, but I love that color. That is so cool. Stormy Sea blue. The interior, when we go to the interior, you're going to love that too here in just a second. But this is really Hyundai's top of the line, first of all, trim level. When it comes to this midsize SUV, this is the perfect size for a lot of folks.
Yeah, this is really the trim level. It's the flagship for Hyundai.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the Calligraphy just takes everything that the Limited has to offer and then just adds more on top of it.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about that in a second. And I've talked about that before. Since I've been doing these and talking to people about Hyundai specifically, the level of tech that you get for the price point is really amazing to me in this day and time. So we're going to talk about that when we get into take the inside interior view. But first I'm going to get Rob to pop the hood so we can look under the hood of this 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. It's going to start with, I guess there's a couple of engine options, right? There's this is what would be the top of the line. It's the 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder, right?
Yeah, it's 2.5 liter turbo, 281 horsepower in this car. So Hyundai really listened to their consumers. You know, they always felt that the Santa Fe felt a little underpowered with it. This engine, it's not an issue. Yeah,
it's going to give you over 300 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds, depending on how heavy your foot is. But you get a couple of other engine choices if you're looking at the Santa Fe. You can come in with the regular non-turbo 4, and you guys also do the plug-in hybrid, right?
They do. They do a plug-in hybrid and a hybrid version of this vehicle.
Oh, true.
Well.
So there's actually 3. Okay, very
Yeah,
cool.
and then as far as fuel mileage goes, they all have this Smart Stream technology. There's 2 different types of fuel injections for this engine,
right.
And then it'll switch between the 2 to maximize efficiency.
I looked at the normal driving range is going to be mid-20s on this car. It's combo number, right? About 24, 25?
Yeah, somewhere around there, somewhere around the mid-20s. I personally drive a Santa Fe every day, and I get around 26 to 27 miles per gallon,
cool.
which isn't bad at all.
Good real-world experience to bring to bat here, because since we've done one of these, gas prices have gone up, continue to rise. So people are really looking for a lot of value when it comes to miles per gallon. That's under the hood. We ought to stop here real quickly and talk about the warranty, because one of the things Hyundai's always been known for is best-in-class warranty, best in the industry warranty, and that really sets people's minds at ease when we start talking about engine choices.
Yeah, so this engine itself, and including all Hyundais across their entire lineup, it's 10-year, 100,000 miles on this powertrain right here. So for a decade, you don't have to worry about anything going wrong with this engine.
Right, and that really puts your mind at ease, especially this day and time, because inventory is limited on a lot of places. You want to make sure you're getting the most for your money, and with gas prices the way they are. The styling on the front, get Dan to take a look at this. This is what Hyundai's become known for. It's that Hyundai front end that is shared with some of the other vehicles in the lineup. But I love pointing out the driving lights here. They kind of...
Yeah, they come down in this T shape here across the lens.
And almost at night, if you see this at night, it almost looks like they break that metal, which they don't, which is cool, but it just gives you that look. The brushed aluminum looks really cool for the chrome. And there's some chrome delete on this one. As we take a look at the sides, it's not overly flashy, which is what I like.
Yeah, and this is all special to the calligraphy. So this grille and this chrome trim down across the front is all just for the calligraphy. You'll notice the cladding along the side of the vehicle is all color matched.
Well, let's take a look. And normally we're going to throw a wrench in the Dan's view here. We normally do the passenger side. We'll come on the driver's side this time since we're over here. Now the wheels, I looked at these too. 20-inch wheels, 255 tires, vented brakes on the front, solid in the rear. You've got 8 inches of ground clearance on this thing. I mean, so if you do a little off-roading, you're going up to a cabin, you're doing those kinds of things as you're traveling, you don't have to worry about this vehicle either.
Yeah, and it performs really well off-road, and their all-wheel drive system, it even has a locking differential on it. It really makes you feel a lot of confidence.
Sure.
when you're going out there and the roads are bad.
Yeah, and with that ground clearance, you're talking about valley snow here. If you're going to drive it around in our neck of the woods, you don't have to worry about that as well. It's going to be great in all weather. It can be gotten in 2 different versions, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong. You can do front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive.
Yes.
Okay.
You can get either or. You know, some people just don't need the all-wheel drive, and it saves them a little bit of money and saves some fuel mileage on top of that.
Saves some fuel mileage, saves a little bit of weight because of the extra weight for the all-wheel drive. So you got that to choose from. But also front-wheel drive is going to be what a lot of people will opt for anyway, because you don't need the 4-wheel drive or the all-wheel drive in most driving conditions. We talked about the side view of this the vehicle. Again, kind of muted. I like the way they've done the chrome, shiny, but not overly audacious. That's great for me. And it's a simple profile, which in this day and time I like too.
Yeah, it really, you know, I love the color match cladding. It really brings just an extra level to this car. You know, it's not this black plastic. It looks classy.
Yeah. And if we could shoot the roof, which I'm not going to make Dan jump up and down in the air, but we would see the panoramic sunroof, right?
Yeah, big panoramic sunroof on the top of it. It makes the inside feel huge. It makes it feel spacious.
So I tell you what, we'll look at that when we're inside. Next, we're going to take a look in the hatch. Another 98 Rock test drive. This time we're doing the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. It's Steve with Rob Hansen here at Right Way Hyundai, West Main and Waynesboro. Going to take a look in the hatch. Now, we've looked at crossovers and SUVs before. Santa Fe at one time was Hyundai's largest SUV.
It was.
And the way the market's changed, of course, we've looked at the Palisade before, haven't been back to the Santa Fe for a while. We wanted to kind of come back and look at this for 2022. This is really a great option for a lot of folks. And I love again, I'm always talking about the technology. It just amazes me at this price point what you're going to get. And we talked about the hatch that works. And you want to demonstrate, this is, what do they call this?
They call it Smart Lift Gate. So it's a really neat system. You know, you'll see a lot of companies doing designs where maybe you wave your foot underneath the car to get the tailgate to open, you know, because they're imagining your hands are full.
Right.
Well, they don't want people coming off balance and putting their foot on it. So what they designed to do is, as long as the key is in your pocket and you're near the car and your doors are locked, if you just walk up behind the car, your hazards are going to flash a few times. You're going to hear a little beep, and then the door's just going to open for you.
So really all you have to do is walk up and stand there if you've got the key fob. Now, the other thing Rob and I were talking about on this, with this technology, it's really set up, because most cars come with 2 key fobs, you can set it up per driver, right?
Yes, you can. So you can set up driver profiles, and then each key you can assign to a driver as well. So the tailgate you can adjust to different heights, so it can only open so far. So you have somebody shorter, can't quite reach the close button, or you have a garage or something with a low ceiling. Well,
and the other thing you can set up is if you don't want the power hatch to open, like say I've got a daughter who lives by herself and safety is an issue and she doesn't necessarily want to take a chance on doing something like that, or you want it to do that for safety reasons, you can set up those different options for a complete profile. Right? And there's other things you can put in that profile.
Yeah,
right?
It's really neat. A lot of the safety features you can program to specifically to a driver, even as far as the interior colors. One driver likes green, one driver likes blue. They select their profile, everything will change to where they had the vehicle set up.
And one of the things I love about Hyundai is most, if not all of that, comes in a package that's readily available. You don't have to pick and choose and do without one thing or the other. So we'll talk more about that as we go. The hatchback, though, I love this. Now, this is set up as brand new, but I know one of the things I've had an SUV before, and you get the cargo cover. When you're not using it, it's hanging out up here. Well, sort of like this, but this one can be stored down here, I've noticed, which is a great option. It fits right in here underneath this cover. And then if Dan wants to come up here and shoot, there's plenty of storage under here. This, of course, is the run flat stuff for your spare system. storage here, if I can spit it out. And then if you go into the center, there's even more storage, right?
Yeah, and this is what really, like I said, I drive a Santa Fe personally. This is what sold it to me and my wife, is the amount of storage
1, 2, 3
under the floor.
Yeah.
This can even be used as a cooler. You can pack ice into it, and it's removable. So
Oh, wow.
underneath is a flat floor. You can put luggage up underneath the floor. We like to go on trips with my dog.
Sure.
Put luggage under the floor, close it up, have the dog in the back, and not have any clutter up front. It's really great.
Well, it's also out of sight for security reasons
Absolutely.
as well. That is so cool. Now, the other thing about this, we talk a lot about just security, but also convenience items. This has the power fold down second row from the back, so you can fold down the back seats from here. You don't have to worry about handles and straps and whatnot. We talked about the power hatch, which is a great option, but also just the storage in here. If you're a couple or a family, or even a single person, and you've got dogs like we've talked about, great place to run the dogs, great place to store kids stuff if you've got soccer practice or lacrosse practice or whatever it is, plus plenty of room up front that we're going to check about. And it's all, I love the fit and finish, the feel of all of this, because it's the Calligraphy edition. 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. That's the hatch. We're going to get in and take a look at the interior next. Hey, it's Steve. This time we're inside the car, or I'm almost inside the car. It's the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy edition. Calligraphy, and it's going to be obvious what that trim level brings to you, because I'm going to let Rob talk about that in a bit. But before I get in and sit down with Dan and behind the camera and Rob to tell us all the answers to the questions, I wanted to point out a couple of things. First of all, the fit and finish, the feel for this is just so great at this price point. We're in the mid to upper 40s, but this is a top of the line vehicle that is going to come with a Harman Kardon stereo. I love this Napa leather. It's wrapped the door, it's wrapped the seats. You get the two-tone seats in this particular color combination, right? But they come in other colors. But I love this, I guess it's saddle for the tan leather. This is cool.
Yeah, it's a really, really neat combination. I love that it's two-tone,
right?
And that it just adds some contrast to the entire interior.
Big stitching on it, which really stands out. The controls are really, really handy, but I wanted to see the seats and the wheel. Big beefy steering wheel. Of course, it's bolstered at the top. And you come with the big paddles as well, so you can shift the 8-speed transmission. We didn't talk about the transmission when we were out front. 8-speed, but you can shift if you want, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can use it if you're feeling a little sporty, or you're just trying to grade a mountain and help use the transmission to slow you down. And just even the quality of everything you touch, from the shifters to the buttons to the knobs, they all feel like very well made, very solid. We're
going to take a look at the infotainment system in a minute. Big 10-inch screen. You can see through the steering wheel to probably get a better view than without me sitting in front of it. Run through the driving modes. Look and see how you can set this up. This is amazing to me.
Yeah, it's just a really neat system, and you can customize a lot of the information that's up here. And then as you're changing drive modes, you go to sport mode, everything explodes and turns red and gets really sporty, and your snow mode, and then smart mode's a really neat option that'll automatically change drive modes, senses how you drive and what it needs at the time. And
in smart mode, for those of us who are not that smart, really talks about, I mean, what it brings to the forefront in a lot of ways is gas mileage, right?
Right. So it'll go into a more it'll go into an economy mode if you're just kind of cruising nice steady speed, and then as you would give it more gas, it'll change drive modes.
But as you went through those drive modes, sport mode, etc., comfort, sport, snow, it really does change the setup of the vehicle, right?
It does. It doesn't magically add horsepower. A lot of it's transmission tuning, but for instance, sport mode, it's going to make your steering a little more sensitive, your accelerator a little more sensitive, and it's going to stay in gears longer. And so it's just going to feel more peppy, and you instantly feel a difference when you change it.
And snow mode, we're in the middle of summer. It's like 90 degrees here today, but snow mode for the valley or wherever you are, if you're in a snowy area, that gives you more traction control.
It does. It tells the car that I'm driving in the snow, start in a higher gear,
right?
And then it'll also use gearing to slow you down as you come up to a stop.
Talk to us about the transmission. The push-button transmission, of course, pretty standard these days. It frees up a lot of real estate. There's a lot of great storage in here. We'll talk about in a second. But that 8-speed transmission that you can either paddle shift or just work with a normal automatic configuration. And I will get in, because I forgot I've got to put my foot on the brake to get it in reverse to show you all the cameras for me to remember. But if I put it in reverse, up will come the cameras, right? And you get the 360 view, right?
Yeah, you get the 360 view. The mirrors fold down so you can see the lines on the road.
Gotcha.
And then even the view is adjustable. You can zoom in, you can zoom out on the car. It just really lets you see parking lines and what's around you. And then a nice big clear camera where you can also adjust multiple angles of the car. So you have a trailer hitch on and you want to back up, you can see exactly where you need to go, which is just amazing.
I need one of those. When I am towing a U-Haul or something for my kids that are in college, it never goes well. So then somebody's coming in behind us winking at us. So I'm going to put it back in park. The other thing I will show you while I'm here, we talked about the drive mode and the setup on the dash. When you use your turn signals, you get the blind spot safety feature, right?
Yeah, you get the blind spot camera, which really I think is just it's very thoughtful, and I think an option like that you're going to start to see on a lot of different vehicles because it's just the safety of that it's right in your field of vision. You're not looking away from the road, and you can see down the entire side of your car. So combined with the blind spot safety in the mirrors, I mean, it's really going to help.
See the other side there. I was going to say
avoid having a side swiping accident.
Well, I was going to say, if you're one of those people that are always rubbing up against the curb, now you have no more excuses.
Yeah.
So just a level of tech that we're talking about on this safety features. It may be difficult to see on the camera, but there's a heads-up display. It currently says we're going 0 miles per hour, but there's a lot that can be added to and adjusted in the heads-up display, and it again can be put anywhere in your field of vision. It can be adjusted.
Yeah, there's a lot of adjustment to it, from the angle to the height to the color. So if you're colorblind or the glare is just hitting wrong, you can change the color up in it. Your GPS information will display up there.
So you get the turn by turn up there, right?
You do, which is a really, really neat option. So as the turn's coming up, you're going to see a big arrow that says, you're going to need to take a left right here.
So this is the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy, but this level of options really come in one package. One of the things that I love, now you get the upgraded Harman Kardon stereo system at this level, which is terrific, and it's going to sound great. But the infotainment system, pretty much everything that's you can touch here is also down here with a more tactile feel. So they've really given you your options there, right?
Yeah, Hyundai's really worked hard to add this. It's sort of kind of redundancy. It's just because they don't ever want you to get lost in trying to find something. So as you go through the touchscreen, you'll see things like setup here. Well, there's a setup button here. Right. So whichever way you want to approach it, you're going to find what you're looking for in these menus, and you're not going to get lost just digging through them trying to find one specific thing.
On the infotainment system, you can hit passenger talk. So if you've got kids in the back and you want to talk with them without having to turn your head, you can always just push that and your voice will come out the speakers in the back. Quiet mode turns them off in the back if you've got kids sleeping or someone back there's dozing off on a long road trip. That's super. The climate, though, I want to see if we can pull this up. I didn't ask you ahead of time. It actually will show you where the air is coming out, right?
Yeah, it'll display where the air is coming out. The auto mode in here will.
But it's not like an arrow. It's and it's fine. Well, we may not be able to show this right now, but I've seen photos of this, and people want to see this. If you're always like me and you're like, where are the air is coming? I want it to come out on my feet. I want it to come out in the midsection. I want it to come out for the defrost. It actually will show you where it's blowing out in a very fluid. Yeah, see there, it's. I just thought that's great. And then when you change it, it changes automatically. So another one of those features. Great setup on the center console here. Great storage. You get it only looks like you have one cup holder, but show us this.
Yep, there's actually a separate one up underneath there.
And you get USB, of course, with charging. There's a pad down here for great flat storage surface. Great pocket storage over there. This is huge. You can look down into there, deep down in there with extra storage as well. Everything's nice and soft and feels luxurious. It's really, really cool. Back up here, something I missed. You get in the front, you get heated and cooled seats. Right here in the back, they're heated. Some folks don't like the engine saver issue where you pull up to the stop sign and it turns off until you use it again. I love that, but you've got that you can turn off ahead of time.
You have a button here, you can turn that on and off.
So it's right in front of you. Heated steering wheel for the wintertime. If you've ever come out and it's freezing cold and you're like, oh, well, why do I want to do this? You've got that as well. Just always in a great package. And these seats, we didn't really go through the power adjustments, but of course you've got tilt, you've got up, you've got back and forth, you've got recline, but you also have bolstering on the front sections here.
You do, and then there's also a thigh support that's extendable by another button there on the side of the seat as well. So up underneath your knees, if you're a little taller person and you just want that extra support behind your knees, you can roll that out, and then lumbar support in there as well.
So I mean, if you got long road trips, it's a great vehicle to take on long road trips. Dan is not complaining in the back, so there's plenty of room in the back as well. It's the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. This one's stickered in the mid to upper 40s, but a great value at that price. Come see Rob Hansen. He is at Right Way Hyundai West Main in Waynesboro. We're going to take it on a test drive next. Inside the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy, this is the model for 2022, top of the line for Hyundai. And we've showed you a lot of technology. We've showed you a lot of comfort features, creature comfort features. It really is, for this price point, mid 40s, upper 40s, it's right in line with a lot of other things. Plus, it's really cheaper than a lot of other cars that you're going to see with this level of technology. That comes with America's best warranty that we've talked about over and over again from Hyundai. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the interior comfort, creature comfort, because we just went through that. I'm going to put it in drive and see this 2.5 liter Turbo 4 gets us out on the road. Rob Hansen, our friend here at the dealership, said, yeah, try it out. It's got a lot of zip to it. This Turbo 4 is what they put in some of the inline vehicles from Hyundai, so you know that it comes with the horsepower that you need to get down the road. So if you're going to the beach this summer, you got a vacation coming up, you want to fill up the back hatch full of things for the family, going to the beach with the kids or maybe even a dog, or you're thinking about heading back to school this fall with the family and the kids are going to be in lacrosse practice or soccer practice, whatever it is, it's a great vehicle for that kind of lifestyle because you've got the storage, you've got the performance, you've got the level of, fit and finish, but also the level of quality and the level of technology that I really just love. The heads-up display, it'll tell you what the speed limit is. If it is set up for that in this area, it is. So the speed limit is 35. It tells you I'm doing 37 right now. It'll give you that. It also changes colors to tell you whether you're below or above the speed limit, which is kind of cool. If we were doing GPS point-to-point directions, it'll give you that as well in the heads-up display. Remember, Rob talked about you can move that up and down depending on height or where you find it most comfortable in your field of vision. Change colors, make it your own. And that is one of the other things we talked about as we head out West Main in Waynesboro here, is that for a couple of drivers, say you and your partner drive the vehicle often separately, you can set up each of the key fobs and the driver's profiles to remember who you are. For lots of times you'll do that with memory seats. There are two memories set up here that you can have set up, one for each driver. But it's also things like the colors that come up on the screen automatically, and what driving mode you want to put in, where the seats go, as we said, where the recline on the seats go, whether or not you want the hatch to open up when you walk by with the key fob, how far up the hatch, how far in the air you want the hatch to rise, how quickly you want it to rise. It's all settable in the driver profile. And you may say, oh, that sounds like a lot of work. Or you might say, well, who needs that? Once you've tried a lot of these options, you're going to love them. 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. This is the top of the line for Hyundais we've talked about. It comes with America's best warranty. We talked about the 10-inch display. And we've talked about this 2.5 liter Turbo 4 with 380 horsepower. I got to tell you, I'm not really hitting any limits here with my acceleration, but we're in city traffic here. So you're going to be able to get in and get out of traffic easily and move on down the road, as they say. So come by and talk to Rob Hansen about this vehicle, on display and available for delivery right now. Obviously, as we've talked about before, some manufacturers are having issues getting inventory to dealers. Many times we've been to Right Way Hyundai. Hyundai has provided them with inventory to move, so you can always call ahead and ask for Rob or any of the other folks, and they can walk you through it. A couple of things we haven't talked about. I love this microfiber suede headliner. It runs from front to back. It's very soft, feels good. It's going to look good for a long time. This panoramic sunroof, the one in the front, of course, opens as a normal sunroof would. The one in the back is a glass top, but it's also, it comes with darkening on it, so it keeps the sunlight out, so you can be comfortable with that. And of course, the back seats have all in the way of comfort. So check it out when you come down to Right Way Hyundai West Main in Waynesboro, and we'll be back to wrap it up next. It's another 98 Rock test drive, Right Way Hyundai West Main in Waynesboro, the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. And it is a gorgeous vehicle. I think we've all fallen in love with it looking at it today. Starts in the mid to upper 40s with this trim level. This is top of the line. It comes with all the bells and whistles. And at that price point, you're not going to find this level of sophistication or this level of technology in any other manufacturer. Plus, it comes with America's best warranty that we've talked about before with Rob Hansen. Any of the folks at Right Way Hyundai can tell you about it. It's on display right now. They've got it in stock. You want to come by and check it out, please do. As we've talked about all of the features of this car, the 2.5 turbo 4 under the hood, 280 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds or so. 8-speed shiftable transmission delivering about 25, 26 combo MBG, which in this day and time is pretty good for this size vehicle. This is their mid-size. At one time, this was Hyundai's largest SUV, but of course they've stepped up now with the Palisade. This really makes a great option for somebody who only needs 2 rows. And speaking as a parent, my kids are grown now, but when they were small, I invested in a 3-row SUV about this size. And I can tell you, I had that SUV for almost 15 years, and I think I can count on one hand the number of times I used the 3rd row. Doesn't mean you won't. But if you don't need the 3rd row and you can get away without it, this is a great option. We looked at the underfloor storage in the hatch. It really gives you a lot of options there. Say you want to take the kids to some sort of practice or you're going camping, you can even use part of that as a cooler and then take it out and dump it. So you got juice boxes, or maybe you're going on a more adult kind of mission and you got something else staying cool back there, you can dump that out later. So it's got a lot of options. And again, we talked about the best warranty in the business, the gauges and everything that you can set up with the drive, your choices for the drivetrain. Those are awesome. And when we say that it does more than just change the drive mode, when it does more than just change the dash colors. If you're driving in snow, you live around where we are filming this in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, or in other like places, you've got 8 inches of ground clearance with the tires and the wheels that we talked about. You can put it in snow mode and you don't have to worry about getting to where you're going to go. That's one of the reasons I love these vehicles as well. You sit up, you've got all kinds of clearance, you can see around in a 360-degree fashion, and it really gives you that peace of mind. We talked about the Harman Kardon audio system. These days, you got to have some great audio when you're looking at a vehicle like this. And just the other features that we talked about. We talked about the sunroof and also the different driver profiles that you can set up to really make it your own. I can't tell you the number of times my wife and I will share a vehicle and instantly the seat and the tilt wheel and everything is changed when you get in, and then you're kind of frustrated. Well, this takes care of all of that for you. It's really, really cool. That heads-up display, I would buy it just for that. So come by and check it out. We're at Right Way Hyundai, West Main in Waynesboro. This is the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. Come by and see Rob Hansen or any of the other fine folks. Right Way Hyundai, West Main in Waynesboro.